an exciting time for American tennis. So like Dave said, I'm going to take you through the ITF World Tennis Number. This is going to be really, really quick. I know we're sort of short on time. This is a compressed version, but we have plenty of other trainings out there that are recorded or even live ones that you can jump on to learn more about this stuff. So I would definitely pass that along to Dave after this presentation for you all. So hopefully you have heard of the World Tennis Number. This is an ITF product. It was released a few years ago. We at USTA got on board with this last year. And as of January 1st, 2023, we are very excited that the the WTN is the official rating for college tennis in the ITA. So there are over 170 other federations that have partnered with the ITF on this rating. And about 70, 80 of those are providing data currently. So that continues to increase every single week. And obviously, the more data that's being sent to the ITF, the more accurate the rating becomes. So a few key things here to note. This is a completely free tool. There is no membership, there's no subscriptions. And this goes for, accessing the data as well as sort of running events, which Peter will take you through shortly. But it is free. We are not a business. We are trying to grow tennis. And this rating is really a fantastic tool for you all to make the most of and help you not only generate revenue, but also better recruit. Like I said, it's a very global tool. 170 other nations have partnered. We are actually very lucky. USTA is on the steering committee with the ITF, so we have a lot of control over the future of the rating, how it's being delivered, the algorithm, etc. And then it is a very dynamic rating in the sense that it publishes every Wednesday morning, so players can really see their progress in real time. A few numbers there at the bottom of the screen for you. These are just within the US. So over 1.6 million players with a World Tennis Number, just over 14 million results being sent to the ITF. We have results going back to 2016. And when it comes to the collegiate results, we go back 2 years. So again, any player will go through sort of where they see their data, but any USTA, ITF results going back to 2016 and collegiate over the past 2 years. And then over 206,000 tournaments using the World Tennis Number. So a few key things to note here. It is a 40-to-1 scale, a 40 being a complete beginner and 1 being a professional tennis player. Everyone has a singles WTN separate from a doubles WTN. So as you can see here, Matt Barnhart's singles WTN is a 19.2. And if he clicks over on the doubles tab, it would pull up his doubles WTN as well. The neat thing is everyone's on the same scale. This rating is age, gender blind. I think a lot of the time when I talk to college coaches, they think this is more just for competitive junior and adult players as well as collegiate players. That's not the case. This rating is really for everyone. We're really focused on bringing new players in, getting level-based play at all ages, adults and juniors. And that's what you'll see, sort of how the rating is integrated into our pathway. Players are initialized based on age, gender, and level of competition. There is no self-rate process when it comes to the WTN. And then we have what's called a confidence level. So if you see here on Matt's profile, there is a navy blue check mark next to his singles WTN of 19.2. This indicates a high level of confidence. So the level of confidence is based on how many results the algorithm has to determine how accurate they think your singles or doubles rating is. So there's a different confidence level for singles versus doubles. So there's low, medium, and high confidence level, low being 10 to 30%, medium being 40 to 60, and then high being 70 to 100. And we do encourage about 5 matches over 5 weeks to achieve that high confidence level. Something to note about the WTN is it is sets 1, whereas a lot of other ratings that you might be familiar with, for example, UTR, is by games 1, right? So a set one. You know, a match could be 6-0, 6-0. A match could be 7-6, 7-6. The WTN looks at that the same way. It would be counted as 2 sets to love. A third set, short sets, tie breaks, etc. for a third set would count as a full set. All right, so how is WTN being used? How is this integrated into our pathway? I think a lot of the times coaches say to me, why do I need to care about WTN? So this slide hopefully spells it out for you, but the WTN is the exclusive rating of junior USTA sanctioned tournaments. And you can see down the bottom there some of the logos of some of the events that we are using the WTN for. So you can see just how much value is being put into the WTN from these different high-level junior events. It is also the second selection criteria for ITF junior tournaments. And then, like I said earlier, it is the exclusive rating of collegiate tennis, which is very exciting. Another question we get often from coaches is the accuracy. How is WTN performing? So overall, we are seeing really, really high levels of accuracy with this rating. We've been tracking it over the past year or two at many different events, whether it's collegiate, junior, adult. So I threw up a few of the numbers here. Obviously, we just had our national junior championships, the hard courts, where we saw a 79 to 86% accuracy. So before every single match that happens, the algorithm determines an outcome. And then based on that outcome, that is how we are sort of calculating these percentages. And then the national clay court championships were 79 to 86%, and then hard courts were 78 to 89%. So again, very, very high level of accuracy within these cohorts. Sometimes when we see, you know, a tournament with adults and juniors being mixed, or maybe collegiate players being mixed in there, so different cohorts, that's where we see those percentages decrease just slightly. But these are continuing to increase. So the more data that we have, the more accurate the rating is. A few stats for you within collegiate tennis. Obviously, we were tracking the team championships, the national championships back in May. We had a 92% accuracy on the men's side and 87% on the women's side. So some fantastic stats coming out of that. And then the ITA summer circuit was at 78%. We also, I'll quickly mention, had some algorithm changes back in July. The ITF made this for everyone. I mean, this included all federations. The collegiate space was very affected very, very little by these algorithm changes. The most affected groups were young juniors between the ages of 10 to 12, moving from green to yellow ball, and then adults that were over the age of 30 were slightly inflated. So again, the ITF are constantly monitoring the algorithm and determining where any changes need to be made. But right now we feel really good about the junior and high-level junior and collegiate spaces as they stand today. Okay, so where can I see player WTNs? On the left-hand side here, you can see Samantha. This is her USTA.com profile. So when a player signs in, whether they're an adult, a junior, whoever they are, they can see their WTN singles and doubles there. You can also see it on tennisrecruiting.net. You look at the weekly rankings at the bottom there, there's the ITF WTN, and Erin's WTN is an 11.6. And then I will, on the next slides, take you through the WorldTennisNumber.com pages, which has a ton of data, which I think you all will find really, really interesting. And I highly encourage you to all to check that out if you haven't already. And then also, this data is all on wearecollegetennis.com, which is the ITA webpage, which hopefully you are all familiar with, and I'm sure Dave will speak more to, or Peter in his part, but definitely encourage you to go in there and look at your rosters with your WTNs of your players. Okay, so this is worldtennisnumber.com. You can see here Dan's got his widget in the top right-hand corner. This is just his overview page. You can scroll down and see a bunch of different data. You know, win-loss ratios. He can filter by date, singles, doubles. He can also look at his match results page, which shows the WTN at the time of the match, which is on the right-hand side of each of their names, which is really neat. There's a head-to-head function. Again, just a ton of data that is completely free to players, coaches, providers. Anyone can go in and have a look at this. I know I love to look at what other people are doing. And so, you know, you can go and stalk anyone in there. You can also, you'll soon be able to create watch lists, etc., where like you'll have a watch list of players you're maybe recruiting, maybe your own players, or anyone that you want to keep an eye on. So a ton of different functionality in there that I think you all would find very helpful. You can also do competitors in common, another great function. Like I said, this is all on worldtennisnumber.com. So there are multiple places where you can see WTNs, but I think the most data that you'll find and the most interesting data is on worldtennisnumber.com. All right, last few slides here. I just wanted to kind of take you through, obviously we said the scale is 40-1. And a lot of the times coaches say, is there a calculator? Is there a conversion chart? I want to be able to convert, you know, my players' UTRs or, you know, players that you're looking at UTRs to WTN. There are definitely third parties out there that have calculators and conversion charts. I can't speak to the accuracy of those, but we do not have one, and neither does the ITF or the ITA. But I always say to coaches, it's really important just to start familiarizing yourself with the new scale. And once you become familiar with it, you really won't need a calculator. So this graph here just shows sort of the distribution of the men for different divisions, really just emphasizing, you know, where players are standing on this scale within these divisions. But again, this is just me preaching that, you know, go on to wearecollegetennis.com, go on to worldtennisnumber.com, start familiarizing yourself with your players' WTNs, and then you'll really quickly understand sort of where, you know, a 9 UTR is versus a on the WTN scale. And again, we have all this data. We have a ton of different data when it comes to men's, women's tennis, the different divisions. We even have it broken down by conference. Again, just showing you kind of where different conferences, teams are fitting. But again, really highly encourage you all to start familiarizing yourself with this because it's not going anywhere. And as you can see, it's really, really integrated already into the pathway, and it's going to continue to grow. And you'll be seeing more and more of it. So I know I rushed through that crazy quickly, but like I said, there's a ton of other trainings out there, recorded and live, that we'd love you to, you know, be a part of. Feel free to reach out if you need anything. If we can, you know, we're trying to gather as much feedback from you as coaches to make this better, to help you better recruit, to help you generate revenue. So we definitely want to hear what you all have to say. Dave, do you want me to hand it over to Peter, or do we want to?
If you want to hand it over to Peter, and then we'll save a few minutes at the end for questions. And if there's questions and coaches you want to put in the chat box there to either myself or Adelaide while Peter's sharing his screen, please do that. So again, want to make sure you guys have all the information you need to start using this tool on a regular basis, because one of the things I am in the chat box with one of the coaches here, and he's sharing with me some of the players that he feels are outliers on his roster, that maybe the WTNs are a little bit off. And usually if they are, it means that they have duplicate accounts and those accounts need to be merged. So if you identify players on your roster that are missing a WTN, or it looks a little screwy, please let me know, and I will get that to the right people and get that fixed as soon as possible, because we're about to get into fall tennis season here, and a lot of the sanctioned ITA tournaments this year will be using WTN for selection for seeding purposes, not necessarily as the main selection and seeding criteria, but one of them. So it's important you guys get this right, and we've sent out a number of emails. If you're not getting emails, again, please let me know so we can check into that and keep you guys updated this fall. So, all right, Peter, over to you.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Dave. So yeah, so you're gonna see actually what I'm showing in here. You're gonna see some of the WTN baked in here as well, as Adelaide mentioned. So you can really see how WTN's kind of getting across everything. What I want to do today is kind of just talk a little bit about Serve Tennis. Some of you might have already got an account. So basically Serve Tennis, it looks very similar to obviously the account where you go in on the admin side to kind of get into the dual match areas. But Serve Tennis is housed off of USTA. So it's a great tool for collecting registrations. So if you're looking to create additional revenue through maybe programming, through camps, for any clinics, private lessons, it's an amazing tool for that. You can also handle all your court booking again. So if you're at a facility and you're able to kind of, book out some of those courts to the general public, maybe it's just other students, staff, etc. Maybe again, as a revenue stream, again, Serve Tennis can handle that for you. And it's also a great way to potentially market any programs that you're currently doing on campus as well. So there's communication tools baked into the system. So if you're looking to promote something you're running, Serve Tennis can easily do that for you. And the good news as well, it's free. Okay, so there's no cost to go in here. There's no cost to set up an account. There's no contracts. There's no training fees, none of that. The only fee you'll ever encounter is if you put money through the system. So someone, let's say, pays for a clinic, then there's a 3.5% plus 50 cents transaction fee taken from that amount for anything processed online. So if something's processed offline, no cost. If you process online, then it's at 3.5 and 50 cents fee. So again, it's a great tool. The fact that there's no kind of upfront cost or anything like that. It's a great tool. Go in, play around with it. Maybe it's not for you, but for a lot of people, it's an amazing tool to kind of get in there. So one of the first things to touch on is a programming module. Obviously, this is one of our most used modules in the system for any coaches who are looking to kind of run some, programming, maybe during term time, during weekends, whenever there's any down hours, or maybe you've got assistant coaches that are helping out and they want to run some programming. Again, a great tool for them to go ahead and do this. So when you create programs, it's fully flexible. You can create courses, reoccurring sessions, one-off sessions, whatever you really want to do. You can also control the visibility of those as well. So you can make them public so anyone can find them and book on them, or you can make them closed. So maybe you're doing like an invitational clinic. You can kind of close it off to the public so only people who you share the link with can register. So again, fully flexible to what you want to do. And I think what's amazing here, kind of building on what Adelaide touched on as well, is the player's WTN will be shown in the roster as well. So when the player books on, you're going to see their singles WTN and their doubles WTN and the confidence factor associated to that as well. So you're going to kind of get an understanding of the level of players that are kind of booking on your program. So you can see another place WTN is going to be baked in. And what's great with this as well, if you put a program in the system, but automatically, unless you decline it, the programs will be shared publicly on USTA.com. There's a national search and via the local section. So, players are being driven to these national searches. They might have no idea who you are. They might have no idea what you offer, but they can find programs that you're running, book on them, come along to your programs, and then are kind of in your system for any offerings that you're doing. So it's an amazing free tool to potentially attract new players into any programming that you're doing. What's also on top of that, we also have a whole camp specific module as well. So we have various structures so you can do your half day, your full day, kind of late pickup, early drop off, kind of all of those setups you typically see in a camp. Sibling discounts are included. And again, WTN is baked into that roster as well. So as the players register for the camps, you're going to see the WTN, again, singles, doubles, and the confidence factor of the players as well. So you get an understanding of kind of who those players are. Again, these camps are promoted nationally as well and at the section level. And what we can also offer you as well is kind of a full service module. So, if you maybe don't have the time and the resources to kind of come in there and set the camps up yourself, market them, that's something we, Clodspark Serve Tennis, can help you with. So if you want to go that way, you can reach out. We'll obviously just collect the details of when you're looking to run the camp, but then we can kind of do the rest for you in terms of promoting it, getting players on it, and then we'll basically just hand you a roster and say, hey, here's all the players, here's some kind of shirts and stuff to give away as well. So we've got like a full scale option and also a hair self-serve. So if you're wanting to kind of handle it yourself, by all means, you can go ahead and do that in the system and do it yourself as well. So we're just trying to make it really easy for you guys, looking to run some additional activities. However you want to do it, we want to be there to support you guys as well. Moving forward as well, oops, have I got the right way? WTN Match Play. So WTN Match Play is a really exciting product. So it's housed in the programming module. So if you're looking to create additional play opportunities, maybe it's kind of any exhibition matches, maybe it's a part of training where you want your players to play each other, that have a little bit more on the line, you can go ahead and set some match plays up. So it's set up in the ServeTennis system. Players are kind of added to it or registering to it. The system will obviously know who they are. You can create round robins, or you can create individual ad hoc matches, singles and doubles. And then you can go ahead and enter the scores, hit publish, and those scores and the matches will count to the player's WTN. So you can imagine there's a lot of use cases for this. It could be, you know, day 5 at camp. It could be part of a programming activity. Again, it could be part of your kind of regular team training. Maybe you want to just get some, you know, more competitive matches out there. And again, exhibition matches as well. So again, just some great tools in there. And obviously any support you need in doing this, setting it up, helping run it, you know, we're there to help you as well. So, and so in addition to kind of the modules we touched about, we have some other great features that kind of go in hand with it. One being custom forms. So if you're running any programs, camps, or anything like that, and you want to collect additional kind of data on the players, maybe it's t-shirt size, maybe it's, you know, allergy, medical information, have you played tennis before, whatever it might be, you can set up in a system that the players are kind of, you know, presented with these questions. They can fill out the answers, and obviously you get that data. So again, any type of question you want to ask for, you can ask in the system, and obviously you then get that data on the player. So again, could be t-shirt sizes, it could be, are you looking to play college tennis? Whatever it might be, you can kind of ask those questions to the players. The other thing we can also have, which can really help promote some registrations, is discount and credits. So discounts, exactly what it is. You can set up discount code to the programs. So you could say, hey, you register by X date, you get X percentage or X dollar off the program to try and create some early bird registrations. Maybe you're in a community where players can't always afford to play tennis, but you partner with local businesses to create like a scholarship for a player. You could then say to the player, hey, you know, you meet the criteria for a scholarship, go ahead, register, use whatever the code might be, you know, get 100% off the program to kind of encourage more players, you know, playing tennis who might not have been able to afford to, with the help of local scholarship. So just some use cases we've seen. And when the program's going on, obviously things happen. It might be rain, programs might be cancelled if you can't always move it indoors or whatever happens. Now, instead of having to give back an actual refund, a cash refund for the program, you can now give a credit back as well. So, you know, maybe one of the weeks is cancelled. You can say, hey, here's a credit amount up to whatever value you want to give. You can go ahead and use it for a future session. So just another way to potentially retain players and keep them coming back to any offerings that you're doing as well. Now, the other module we have in here as well, and I'm kind of churning through these quite quickly, but I wanted to give you guys a very good overview, is court booking. So, you know, very straightforward. If you want to rent out your courts to public, staff, students, whoever, you can go ahead and kind of set this up in a system, and you can set different permissions as well. So maybe your varsity team players, they can book with certain parameters, you know, certain days in advance, certain hours, etc. Maybe your club level players, they have different permissions. And then maybe you can let the public come along and play, maybe at the weekends or maybe downtime when there's not much activity going on as well. So you can really configure it to allow access when you want access to the courts. And obviously you can collect revenue from this as well. And then what's really nice with this functionality, especially if your site is not manned consistently, we do have SmartAccess integration. Now, SmartAccess basically involves adding locks to the courts, not to prevent play, but just more to try and help facilitate it, track it, and ensure the right players are on the court at the right time. So there's two kind of locks involved. So you've got this padlock at the bottom, very straightforward, snap it on, you're up and running. And then the top version is kind of a more full-scale version. The lock gets mounted onto the gate itself. It includes a kit that has like a shield to stop people reaching through and opening it from the wrong way. Has like a panic bar, and there's also some spring hinges that get attached to the gate. So that means when a player comes along, they enter their code, they open the gate, let go, the gate shuts and locks behind them as well. So very, very easy for the users to use. And then when the player books a court at that time, they get presented with a PIN code that's unique for their booking. Okay, so if I go and book a court next Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and Dave goes and books a court next Wednesday at 2 o'clock, he's going to get a very different code to my one. So you can really see that you're only getting onto the courts at the correct time. And again, if there was a cost for the courts, you're making sure payments collected at that time of booking. So great way just to kind of track, manage, and protect your courts as well. Obviously, we kind of touched on some of the importance of it, but here's kind of a little list highlighting some of the, you know, the reasons we've identified why courts, you know, get these installed. Obviously the main one really is revenue generation. If you're at a facility where it's easy for people to kind of walk onto, the fact that now you're kind of requiring them to book, you're going to make sure you get that payment. But again, protecting those courts, you're going to make sure the tennis courts are used for the right activities. I'm sure you will hear stories of people, skateboarding on them, doing other stuff, playing soccer, etc. Maybe not on every college campus, but obviously where sites, aren't manned specifically, it's very easy for players to get into courts but maybe they shouldn't be. This is a great way just to kind of protect those assets as well. So you can see here, quick summary of how those locks work. I'm not going to go too much detail, but in a summary, the installation process is very easy. It's not hard power. It's simple batteries to kind of get these up and running. And there's no Wi-Fi. It runs purely on a time-based algorithm. And because there's less kind of technical components to get them up and running, there's obviously less to go wrong. So they are a very reliable option as well. Now, the last thing I want to touch on quickly is tournaments. So obviously within ServeTennis itself, you've got a whole tournament module. So within that, you can run sanctioned USTA events. You can run unsanctioned USTA events. I also missed out summer circuit. Obviously, those of you on the call, if any of you run a summer circuit this year, summer circuits are also included in this as well. And obviously WTN tournaments. So WTN tournaments, for those of you who haven't heard them before, it's a great, very flexible kind of competition structure where you can go in, create a tournament. You can create different events based on either ages and or WTN level as well. And obviously it's very flexible because you're not kind of adhering to a USTA sanctioned rules. There's a lot more kind of flexibility when setting these programs up. Again, so if you're looking for extra revenue generation, if you're looking to kind of create some more play opportunities in your area, these tournaments are a great way. And if you don't want to go down the full kind of sanctioned USTA event way, there's lots of tools, lots of opportunities in the system as well to kind of get you up and running and giving you activities in the system as well. And again, really important, no matter whether you run a sanctioned, unsanctioned, or a WTN tournament, the results will count to the players' WTN as well. So again, we're just trying to get as much play data and giving the players opportunities to go and play and have matches count towards their WTN as well. So yeah, I think we're nearly right at time. So I think I might have got that all in very quickly. I tried to do it. So Dave, I don't know if you have any questions coming in or who to hand over to.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. And coaches, again, these sessions are supposed to be very brief, just kind of giving you a taste of everything that's going on. Some of these tools might be of interest, others might not be. Some of you may be starting programming for the first time. This will hopefully professionalize your operations. I'm sure your administrators will be very impressed if you're using these types of tools. And others of you are currently using other platforms that charge a lot, up to 50%. And obviously that's past the consumer as well. So you're able to bring down the costs, hopefully for the consumer, and then also create more revenue generating opportunities for yourself, for your program, for your assistant coach, whatever it is. So these sessions that we're doing this month, we're going to repeat them 3 times, so you don't need to come to the next one. But obviously, like I said, these are quick hits, trying to touch upon a lot of different information. But if you have questions, you need more information, you can absolutely contact me. I can put you in touch with Peter, Adelaide, if I can't answer the question myself. I know we have a couple of questions coming in. Do you guys see that? Peter, is the ServeTennis app where you would set up a team roster to see their WTN numbers? No, that's the roster you set up on your ITA coaches workspace. That will be where the WTNs are listed.
Correct. Yeah. ServeTennis app is where you want to go to run the match play. So you're running match play. ServeTennis app is where you want to go. If not, as Dave mentioned.
Yeah, so if you're not sure how to get your coach's workspace set up, be sure to contact Alicia Smith, who's the ITA community manager, esmith@itatennis.com. If you have any other issues with your platform or your login as you're getting organized here for the fall, please contact Alicia. Okay, I've got another question. Eric, yeah, I have a student athlete on my team that has 2 profiles. Madison. Yeah, okay, I'll take care of that. Eric, can you put your email address in here as well? And I'll take care of that for you. Again, coaches, if there's others that have WTNs that have it looks like duplicate profiles, let us know. We want to get this sorted out as soon as possible. So you guys need to keep track of your roster, keep viewing it every few days, see if you're missing something, and we'll get it sorted out for you as quickly as possible. We'll work with the ITF to get that resolved. Okay, I know we're trying to fit in a lot. If there's other, oh, Lauren just put in a link there about updating your roster. Thanks, Lauren. If there's other questions, myself and Lauren are happy to stay on a little longer. If you guys have questions about WTN, these Serve Tennis tools, if there's any other ITA questions, you need help with roster, you have questions about the fall tournaments, rankings, anything, myself and Lauren will stay on as long as you guys need. But Adelaide and Peter, I'm sure you guys have other calls coming up. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll connect these guys with you as they have more questions.